Welcome
There.
to the Kid Show. My name is Zane.
My name's Abdullah.
And my name's Imad.
We're here to educate and empower us kids from the inside out.
And we're also the Holistic Kids. Have
Did
you
I say
ever
that?
felt like your heart was racing, getting nervous, or even restless, breathing rapidly, feeling weak or tired and sweating? Wait,
Wait, that happens to me right before a test or when I have to get on stage.
The anxiety is normal, but when that happens all the time, that is not normal anymore and can be a big problem.
and that must be miserable if you're feeling like that all the time. And guess what? Anxiety affects more and more children today as mental health problems in kids are on a rise. And because that can be miserable. Well, we have an expert today to talk about that. Dr. Christina Bjorndal. Um,
You got it. Bjorndal.
Bjorndal, yeah.
Bjorndal. Yes. Good for you. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Christina Bjorndal, ND, is an authority in treatment of mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, bipolar disorders, and even eating disorders. Having overcome many mental health challenges, Dr. Chris is Dr. Christina is a gifted speaker and best-selling author who loves to share her philosophy of wellness in interviews with icons like Jenny McCarthy and many more. And she is recognized as one of the top NDs to follow by two independent organizations. Dr. Christina has helped so many patients achieve physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual well being. She has written 4 books on mental health, as well as created 2 courses, a 10-week course for individuals and a and an integrative medical mental health week course. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure.
It's
Our
our
pleasure.
pleasure.
Nice.
You are so inspiring as you have overcome many mental health challenges. So we would love to hear your story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, my story, I have had a lot of challenges in mental health. And I don't know if this has happened to you, but for me, I was a bit bullied when I was in grade. I got to leave my glasses on because I can't see as well. When I was in grade 3. So that was really challenging for me because I didn't really feel like I had just moved to a new school. So one of the things I'm going to say right off the top here is if you ever see somebody who's new in your school, it's always really nice to, ask them to join you or ask them to, eat lunch or whatever it is, because a lot of times they're feeling pretty lonely, right? And that can contribute to anxiety because they don't really feel like they fit in, right? So do you do that already? Like, do you sometimes, if you notice somebody that's new, do you reach out?
Yes. Well,
Try
we can't
to-
even invite them over for dinner because then they're going to be like, why are we eating all of these super healthy foods? They're not gonna be too accustomed to eating that kind of food. So
Yeah, true.
But you know what? You got to start somewhere, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I've had a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety, and a lot of I did, like, as you read in the bio there, I had an eating disorder, and things were, not so bad when I was in elementary school, except for that experience with having that bullying. But then I developed an eating disorder. And then when I got into university, I was really always pushing myself really hard, like to be kind of the top student and the top athlete. And it got really exhausting by the time I got to my third year of university. And that's where I really kind of crashed and burned. And it was just through my own recovery of really hitting the bottom that I realized I would needed to figure out another way to navigate my health, because most of the time I was wearing this mask or pretending that I was okay on the outside, but I wasn't actually doing that well on the inside. And so anyways, I ended up seeing a nutritional psychiatrist who started me on lots of nutrients, because like you just were saying, maybe some people don't eat that well, and I certainly was one of them. I wasn't eating very well. And so it's important to understand that if you don't put the right fuel in the tank, so to speak, like, gas in the car, the engine's not going to run in the car. It's the same with our bodies, right? If you don't put the right gas in your the fuel in the body or food, how's your brain going to run properly, right? So yeah, so basically I don't want to be all doom and gloom so here too much, and I don't, so we'll just kind of keep it at that. How's that sound?
Yeah. So these conditions are on a rise in kids. Why do you think that is? And if
you mean, so anxiety and depression in particular are on the rise in children. And I think there's lots of reasons. So one is that we were just talking about the nutrition piece of the puzzle. That's really important. Many kids aren't as healthy as you are. And then the other, I think, is a disconnection from nature. I think many people are stuck to devices, and that's not helping us. So that's a really important thing to understand, the relationship between technology and how it affects you. The other piece is right now it's because we're still in this pandemic, and there's been a lot of isolation and disconnection, and you can't shake hands and wrestle on the ground, right? It's not good, I don't think, at all. So anyway,
we are talking about anxiety today. What exactly is anxiety?
So anxiety is kind of a catch-all term. There's a lot of different types of anxiety. So, but the general piece, the general way it can manifest when it, and actually what you were saying in the introduction, that some anxiety is somewhat normal, right? Like there's a fine line between healthy anxiety to kind of motivate you to study or to do well on a test or to try hard in a soccer game, but it can cross the line into what we call pathology or becoming a problem if it doesn't ever go away. And so that's where you can feel, and everyone might experience it a bit differently. I can get, my heart can be beating fast. I can feel like my, heart's pounding in my head. I can have a hard time breathing, feel like I'm short of breath. I can feel sort of paralyzed and stuck, like I can't take a step. I can get sweaty hands. So those are some of the physical symptoms that you might experience with anxiety.
That is horrible.
Horrible. That is scary. What are the root causes?
So some of the root causes, so you want to understand that what makes all of us up as people, we have kind of three main systems in the body, right? So you have your neurotransmitters, so it often work in the brain. Then you have hormones. You guys heard of hormones?
Yes.
Yes.
Your hormones. And then you have your organs of detoxification. And so one thing I want to highlight around the organs of detoxification is the relationship between the gut and the brain. So I think you probably know about the gut microbiome.
Yes.
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 Yeah. Yeah. So for people who don't, what? Definitely. Yeah. So for people who don't know about that, how would you explain it to them?
Wow.
So go for it,
So
Anna.
it's technically how you're like in your gut. There's bugs and there's bad bugs, and they battle.
Yes, exactly.
And you want the good bugs to win.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So there's more than, guess how many pounds of bacteria we have in our digestive tract? How many pounds do you think it is? If you had to guess. Like, do you think it's 1, 5, 3, 7, 10?
23 million.
Well, that's a number, not 23 million pounds. I hope you don't think. Yeah, you might
Wow.
thinking of the.
100,000.
What
No.
about
100,000.
10?
100,000.
So
No.
you might be thinking about the types, like the quantity, right? Like there might be 100,000 bacteria, but how much do they weigh? If we were to hold them
100,000.
all, right? They weigh about
100,000.
1 pound?
yes, well, a little more, about 3
Oh, okay.
pounds.
Love
That's
that.
Yeah, 3 pounds is, is still quite a bit, right? When you think about it. So, and we want to have a really diversity within these bacteria, right? We don't want to just have one guy in our army. We want to have all different types. So, anyway, coming back to you, you were asking me what's the root causes, right? So that's one of the root causes is there's a lot of antibiotics that are prescribed in children. And that disrupts the microbiome, and then that microbiome can affect us from a neurological and mental health perspective. So I don't think a lot of people make the connection there, and so it's just important to talk about that.
So, as a teenager, I hear a lot about getting anxiety and all of the risks and the all of the risks and symptoms. But what about adults? Can adults get anxiety, or is it just teenagers?
No, both. Yes. Yeah, and I think adults, especially for parents, I think a lot of parents want to hide from their children what they're going through because they don't want their children to, maybe to worry or to be concerned or to pick up, to sort of model their parents, right, in a quote unquote negative way. So yeah, it affects nobody really is. I mean, other than I would say a newborn baby, I think it can happen to many people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what foods are best for mental health
Yeah.
and to help our good bugs in our bodies?
Yeah. So to help the good bugs in your body, you want to be eating foods that are called like prebiotics, and these are foods that help to support the growth of the bacteria. So the best prebiotic foods would be things like inulin, which is found. It can be found in different types of grains, and bananas can be prebiotic food. Garlic's a prebiotic food. Artichokes. I don't know. When was the last time you all had artichokes? Have you had artichokes before?
Yes.
Yeah, we've
Have
had
you?
it before. I don't
Well,
really like artichoke.
Don't you?
Yeah.
They're good on pizza, if you slice them up and then put them on maybe
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if you have cauliflower.
Yeah. We've had them on pizza.
They're not too bad. And then the other ones that are good are probiotic foods, like foods that contain probiotics, like good bacteria, like sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, kombucha, those types of ones. And then other foods that are good for our mental health is one key one is tryptophan foods. So tryptophan is an essential amino acid. So that goes on to make serotonin in the body. And serotonin can be is an important neurotransmitter that if you have depression and anxiety, often we want to look at supporting serotonin. So foods like tryptophan would be so amino acid foods. So that's protein. So if people are eating animals like chicken or beef, but if not, then it would be things like quinoa, walnuts, peanuts, cashews, avocado.
Yeah. So, but what foods can worsen can worsen anxiety for someone?
What do you think? What do you think the answer
Probably
is?
sugar.
Yeah,
Like, it always is. And
it always is, isn't
adult
it? Yeah.
foods.
Yeah. So, and I'm going to say foods with food coloring too.
Yeah.
So people who are eating like Skittles or, which isn't food, but anyways, M&Ms, anything with food coloring, really want to stay away from. It's not, yeah, that's not helpful. Other ones, I don't see this as much in children under 13, 15, but over 15, 16, 17, sometimes they start drinking coffee, and that's not recommended either.
Yeah.
How does that make worse?
Which one? Coffee? Coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because coffee is a stimulant, and it can cause some of those symptoms actually that I was saying, like the heart racing and the sweaty hands, and it can push you kind of into anxiety if you drink too much coffee.
So, what other lifestyle factors help our brains, like help anxiety and help you recover from it?
Yeah. The two that I think are really important, and you may already, I should ask you, what do you think? Do you have an answer for me?
Yes.
Yeah. What's your guess? If you're going to guess.
Gratitude and meditation.
Yeah.
Which one? Meditation and?
Gratitude.
And
Gratitude.
even the environment and social health and
Singing
Yeah.
a thankful song.
And music?
No.
just hobbies that help you
Hobbies.
relax.
Being
Yes.
thankful. Being thankful.
Just gratitude.
Thankful. Yes. Yeah. Those are all really important for sure. I would say that's on the spiritual side, the gratitude practice and meditation, super, super important. The other ones I was thinking is sleep.
Oh yeah, yes.
And
Yeah.
you kind of mentioned it already, but exercise, like movement.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah. What were you going to say? Go for it.
It's getting out in nature.
Yeah.
And grounding.
Grounding.
Yeah. Where are you living?
We're living in Illinois, so right now it's getting a little chilly, but
Okay.
It's really
Is it where do you go for nature to get that for yourself?
and
Like,
hikes.
Hiking?
Like
Yeah, there's some forests around us.
Nice. Beautiful. Yeah, that's really important. So,
We're not in Chicago where there's like nothing.
okay.
Yeah.
Isn't there is there lakes in Chicago?
Michigan.
Yeah,
Like
Lake Michigan.
Yeah, but that's just like a beach kind of.
Okay.
But there are lots of rivers that have nature walks and hikes that you can take and
Yeah.
nature reserves.
Perfect. Yeah, it's really, really important to get outside, right?
Yeah.
And then the other big one is sleep. So making sure that you're at your age, like my son's 15, guess what time he goes to bed?
9.
Yeah, when I'm 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of his friends, I know they're like up very late, and I just don't, anyway. So what time do you guys go to bed?
9.
9? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what time do you get up in the morning?
I get up around 6:30.
I get up at 7
7.
making everyone's lunches.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I should get you here to help me make my kids lunch. That's awesome. Yeah. So, and do you feel rested in the morning? You feel good?
Yeah.
Like when you wake
Yeah.
up?
I wake up around
7:30.
7.
Or sometimes even 8.
So, Abdullah, how come you get up a bit earlier then?
Homework.
Oh, you're doing your homework. Okay.
He has to do at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day before school.
Okay.
No
Okay.
Revision.
Yeah.
He memorizes.
You get tests.
Okay.
So, where can parents go to find answers for their kids?
So you're in the United States, so there's a big sort of national organization that abbreviated NAMI, the National Association for Mental, I don't know, I'm not sure what this I stands for. Now, I don't know what anyway, NAMI, NAMI.org, I would say is probably the website. And then there's also, like in Canada for people, then there's the Canadian Mental Health Association. There are lots of different groups out there and different segments within, but those would be the two big umbrella groups that I would look into to start with. And then obviously reaching out to your, if there's a school counselor or somebody,
Like a therapist.
Yeah.
So, can nutrient deficiencies or hormone problems lead to feeling anxious? And what are signs of having anxiety? Like, is it just like is it long term, or
Like
can it also be
having
short term?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what the root of the problem is, right? So if the root of the problem is, say, nutrient deficiency, so yes, nutrient deficiencies can lead to imbalances and result in anxiety. And so, but when you resolve those, then the anxiety will shift and lift. Then with hormones as well, every single hormone. So the main hormones are thyroid, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, and cortisol. And imbalances in those hormones, for the majority of them, one of the symptoms can be anxiety. So when I'm working with someone, I'm always trying to investigate, well, what is the root cause, right? Or which macro system do we want to support, which I was talking about earlier, right? And then one of the big things with nutrient deficiencies, you want to understand that the main neurotransmitters for anxiety, as I mentioned, one, which is serotonin, which is derived from tryptophan, but tryptophan cannot get to serotonin if it doesn't have the nutritional cofactors, which are B6, B3, magnesium, vitamin C, and zinc. So those are really important. There's always cofactors that help the pathway move along. And the same goes with the GABA pathway in the brain. There's also these similar nutritional cofactors are involved.
What lab tests can help to find the root cause?
Yeah, so doing a nutritional analysis can be helpful. First, you also want to make sure, because iron's an important part of this as well, which I didn't mention. So if you're deficient in iron, it can manifest as anxiety. So you want to there's blood work you can do, there's neurotransmitter testing you can do, and often in younger individuals, I will look at doing heavy metal testing to make sure that there isn't anything from the environment that's playing a role.
And you're talking about environment, like what about there's a digital environment, and the phones and screens, it causes, and social media, it causes a lot of anxiety. Can you touch upon that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that we want to definitely have some limits to how much time we're spending on technology. It's another addiction that it's another thing that can have addictive tendencies. And so we want to manage it, right? And manage that by setting limits. Social media, I don't think it's very good for kids at all to be on social media. I don't. Are you on social media?
No.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Our mom puts us on social media. We never look at it though.
Okay, so that's okay then. Yeah. Like you're putting content out, but you're not consuming.
We're not putting any content out. Our mom is putting content out.
Yes. Okay.
She's just like on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my best suggestion around that technology piece is to not go to it first thing in the morning, and definitely not having it be the last thing you do at nighttime. Right? You want to bookend your day with more healthier, engaging in healthier consumption for yourself. Whether it's what you're doing is you're getting up and you're studying, right? Like that's, to me, is very healthy, right? And so you want to be doing something for yourself that's fueling you and serving you, versus a lot of the social media pieces, it's pushing, everyone else is pushing information onto you. And that can sometimes cause anxiety, especially if we get stuck in comparison mode, or we're concerned about what people think. Like, that can feed into this whole negative spiral.
Are there supplements that can help kids with anxiety?
Yes, there are. Yes, so one of the ones is called niacinamide. It's a non-flushing form of vitamin B3. It's very calming. Then there's GABA that people can take. There's omega-3s that are really important. Vitamin D is really important. Zinc, especially for you guys. Guys are men in general, they need more zinc than women. So zinc is really important, vitamin B6. So the answer is yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is one thing parents can do today to help improve their child's brain and health?
Well, one of the things that they can do is actually just coming back to that technology piece. I see a lot of parents on their phones a lot. So it would be, especially when they're, watching their kids at a game or a practice or something, I would say disengage from that and engage with your kids, right? So get connection with your children is really important. That's one thing that I think would really help, because children need to feel attached and attuned and connected and be able to be authentic with their primary caregivers. And if primary caregivers are distracted and disconnected, it's going to really break this bond that needs to be solidified between children. So, or between children and parents.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
So, one more question. If a parent has anxiety, will it affect the kid? Like, will the kid or the child also get anxiety?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a hard time answering that question because I don't want anybody to feel bad. But you know what? Yeah, it can be a learned thing. It can, because you and me, when I was a child and your children, we are absorbing our environment, right? Whether you think you are or not, you are, and you're modeling your parents. And so I'm not saying this to blame parents. It's not about blaming anybody. It's all about awareness. And I can tell you, I grew up with a mother who, she still has anxiety, and she's almost 80 years old. And I had anxiety, and my grandmother had anxiety. And I'm adopted, so I'm not even biologically, connected. But it's this nurture piece, right? The way that the environment I grew up in was anxiety promoting,
Yeah.
So anyway, but the good news here is that you can change. Like, you can change. I don't experience nearly as much anxiety, and I can go for long stretches of time without any anxiety. So that can be solved. But yes, if you're a parent watching this, or if you're a child that, you're someone who knows that their parent might be struggling with anxiety, and you don't necessarily want to have the same struggles, then it's important to share this conversation with them and understand that you can make a change, and it doesn't have to be this way forever for you.
That is amazing note to end on, and that is so amazing. So, where can people learn more about you, your work, and your books?
Yeah, so that my books are at Barnes and Noble and Amazon, like online, and in Canada would be Chapters or Indigo, or my website, which is I think scrolling here on the screen. So just Dr. and then Christina, my last name, Bjorndal.com. We can get the books from there too.
That was so empowering. Everyone, make sure to follow Miss Christina on social media. Social media.
Thank you.
Our kids' brain.
Us kids.
Us kids' brain. Us kids' brains start in the gut. So we have to keep our gut bacteria healthy. and happy by eating real foods like probiotics, like sauerkraut, probiotics like prebiotics like artichokes, food with protein to increase serotonin, serotonin.
And focus on an attitude of gratitude. That's what we always like to say. And gratitude keeps you focused on the positive things in life, increases optimism, and even allows your body to lower inflammation and work better. We love to sing the thankful song every morning. Lower stress. Stress
See?
leads to more chronic conditions as it weakens your immune system and it makes your gut bacteria sick, increases cortisol, that increases insulin resistance, and that makes you sick.
Wait, let me just go back to Thankful Song, which you thought was a music, and it also lowers anxiety.
So make sure to sleep. While you sleep, your body doesn't use so much energy. So it has more time to heal your body, make hormones, lower inflammation, and detoxify your body. And make sure to get enough exercise in nature and put your feet on the ground and just ground and feel the grass. There's a direct connection between how we feel and exercise. Studies have even shown that spending time outdoors can make you happier. And limit screen time and social media for kids because Dr. Christina recommends that we should not begin and end our days with screen time. And parents, just get off your phones and please connect with us.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zain Ansari.
I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Imad.
Follow my family on social media, Holistic Mom MD, and look out for my mom's book, A Holistic RX, your guide to healing chronic inflammation and disease. And we're so excited to announce one of our mom's new books. These two books.
Ooh, beautiful. Look at that. Awesome.
2, 3, this.
Oh, nice.
Holistic Kids Show. Holistic Kids. The Holistic RX for Kids. Parenting healthy brains and bodies in a changing world. We wrote it. And the amazing children's book we wrote together is
Adam's Healing Adventure, The Power of Rainbow Foods.
So check it out on Amazon.
Nice.
Yay. And if you order it today, you'll get lots of free gifts. And we love free gifts.
And kids need to learn from other kids.
Please download our podcast on iTunes and leave a review so other kids and families can benefit. We need to work together to create a healthier future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kids Show, where kids are empowering kids.
Thank you, everyone.